your children know what behavior you expect in your home.
Fox 4 parenting expert Heather Waterfield is here with some tips to help you establish the right rules for your family. And the rule that I grew up with is because I said so.
That works, right? It's a rule.
Well, I don't know.
Maybe.
Do as I say, not as I do.
There you go. That's a little more specific, don't you think? Yeah. Well, you know, rules are kind of like a family's mission statement. They tell us what's important to us. And so we come up with rules that are important to us. Things like safety, manners, daily routines, how we treat others.
Honesty.
Honesty.
Right.
And some of those things, you know, that are our family values. And so how we come up with them is dependent upon what our family believes in. So when we come up with family rules, it helps our children understand what's expected of them. And also helps them know what the consequences are, because you come up with those in advance, right? So we as parents can then treat those, how we follow them and how we break them, more consistently. And children will feel more safe and secure because they know what's expected of them.
I think the hard part is being consistent.
Yes. Any rule, you know, you have to follow it, right? And if we break it, you have to be consistent on how we do that. So as a family, we sit down and we come up with rules. Kids as young as 3 can help come up with some of these rules and come up with the consequences that go along with them as well. And we write them down, right? You write them down so we know what they are and how to follow them as well. And then you got to create both do and don't rules. Okay,
so like what?
A do rule is, okay, we do wear our seatbelt. We do sit down when we eat. A don't
Why
rule.
do we do that?
And that's a good question. We need to remind him, why do we do that? We sit down to eat because I tell my child, because you might choke. And he turns upside down and says, see, I'm not choking. Right. Yeah. The kids will push those limits, and so we have to enforce them, right? And so then those don't rules, like we don't curse, we don't spit, we don't ask for things in the grocery store. And then as a family, you sit down and come up with the rewards and the consequences. And let kids help you do that. You'd be really surprised at some of the consequences they might come up with.
They are pretty funny.
Might be harsher than what you even might do it. But again, like you said, you got to be consistent about that. And review the family rules. Go over them every week. Talk about them. You might be changing them. If your kids get older, you might need to add some new ones. And with that, you know, I mean, because it got to make things, at least we know it's expected. Everyone has the same rules. And we follow them as well as parents, right? If we ask our kids not to curse, we shouldn't curse. If we ask them to wear their seatbelts, we need to wear our seatbelts.
All right.
My favorite was when my nephew was 3 and my sister had to explain, we do wear clothes to school. Why?
Wait, why?
Saw no point in that. Thanks,
Good
Heather.
rule.
Right,
For more of Heather's tips and do's and don'ts, we've got a link to the Family Conservancy where she works. Go to our morning news page at fox4kc.com.